Genesis 1:1. God created the heavens and the earth. God was everywhere. Even before then, He was everywhere. He was everything. God's Spirit even hovered over the waters once they had formed it. God was omnipresent. He was everywhere at all times. God even walked with us in the garden. When we used to live in Eden, it was a good time. Days I'd like to bring back. There was happiness. There was no sickness. There was complete freedom. And we lived in holiness with God. Then the darkest day in history of earth happened. Sin was welcomed in. Disobedience to God was introduced. We started to hide from God, as if we could. God's everywhere. He was everything, but that quickly changed in our hearts. God wanted to reconcile and bring us back to Him, but we kept running from Him and doing our own thing. God kept searching for a righteous person on the earth. He kept searching. After a while, He found Abraham. He was with Abraham. God promised Abraham, I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all the peoples on earth will be blessed through you. God walked with Abraham, and He loved Abraham. God wanted to be in a close relationship with His creation. We were created to bring pleasure to our Creator. He wanted us to love Him and spend time with Him. We kept disappointing Him by living our own lives and living in our. Time passed. Along came others such as Isaac and Jacob. God really wanted to bring His creation, mankind, back to Him, so He created a covenant with Jacob. God renamed Jacob Israel, and was to carry out the covenant through these people, through Jacob's line, through His family. Israel was established. These were to be a people that were God's. God had reconciled Himself to man again through these people. He was to set aside for Himself, and He could be proud of them. God wanted the world for Himself, but now He had one group of people. Maybe He could use these guys to be a role model for the rest of the world. Maybe all the rest of mankind could come back to God through the Israelites. When the Israelites were in Egypt, they became enslaved to Pharaoh, and they cried out to God. They cried out for help. God heard the cries of His people. Once God makes a covenant, it is solid. He will come through with it. These were His people. He will not let them suffer anymore. Something must be done. Moses was chosen to lead these chosen people out from their bondage. How could God's own people be enslaved to people who worship gods that were created by creation? This was wrong. The one true God is second to none. We will see that God is God. Have you ever seen a bush that burns that is not consumed? The one true God introduced Himself to us as the great I Am. He is who He says He is. No one can contain God. You can't put God in a box. He reigned terror on the greatest nation of the world. Those who thought they were above all. They were shown that God is God. He is the great I Am. God poured out blood on Egypt, then frogs, gnats, flies, a plague on the livestock, a plague of boils, hail, locust, darkness, and then the icing on the cake, the plague unto the firstborn God killed every firstborn son he needed, from the firstborn son of Pharaoh, who sits on the throne, to the firstborn son of the slave girl, all of the firstborn of the cattle as well. There was loud wailing throughout Egypt, worse than there has ever been or ever will be again. But among the Israelites, not a dog barked at any man or any animal. The blood of the lamb was shed and placed on the doorpost of every Israelite house. The blood caused death to pass over them. The blood of the lamb saved Israel. God's people were released from bondage. They were set free. God saved us from Pharaoh. God was with us. God protected us. We could see him with us. He was with us in the form of a pillar of cloud during the day and a pillar of fire by night to give us light. In the desert, God looked after us. He gave us manna and quail to eat when there was no food to eat. And he even let water be poured out of rocks when there was no water for us. We eventually came to a place called Mount Sinai. Here Moses went up and met with God on this mountain. There was fire and smoke all over the mountain. The people were scared to go near it. From this mountain, God gave us the Ten Commandments. As he gave us these Ten Commandments, there was thunder and lightning and smoke all over the mountain. And we even heard a huge trumpet blast. We all trembled. God was God, and we were scared. We feared him. We were afraid to be in God's presence. We begged Moses to speak to us yourself, and we will listen. But do not have God speak to us, or we will die. From then, God stopped speaking to us, but decided to speak through the prophets whom he chose himself. We were given God's commandments on 2 stone tablets. And as the covenant was confirmed, only Moses was able to approach God. For God wanted an ark, a large chest for these commandments to be kept in. This ark, this box, was to be made of acacia wood, and was to be overlaid with gold. It was to be called the Ark of the Testimony. There was to be an atonement covering of pure gold, which would house 2 cherubim, 2 gold angels at either end, with their wings spread upward and overshadowing the cover. God told us, there above the cover between the 2 cherubim, over the Ark of the Testimony, I will meet with you and I will give you my commandments. This was the mercy seat of God, the meeting place with God.